Start by just saying a quick truth. Most businesses owners don't really have a traffic problems. We actually have funnel problems. You can spend thousands of dollars driving visitors to your website, but if your funnel leaks, you're basically dumping water in a bucket full of holes. That's why today's session is going to be different. We're not just going to talk about funnels in theory, but we're breaking down the science of it and what a high converting funnel actually looks like in 2025 and how to build one that works while you sleep. Hi, everyone. My name is Richard Fallah. I'm the CEO of VBOUT, and I'm thrilled to have you here today for this session on how to build a sales funnel that works in 2025. But before I do, I would like to just simply give a shout out to everybody who join us on a monthly basis. Our community is 20,000 strong. We've been doing these events for about 11 years now. So thank you, George, for all the support throughout. And thanks for the community for joining, learning, and really growing together over these years. It means a lot to us. I know every single one of you, and some of you are even joining from, late in the evening, 12-hour difference. They sacrifice sleep to be able to get access to live content with an awesome speaker as we have today. As you know, VBOUT is actually the sponsor of the event. And we've built over the years 14 marketing tools combined to basically help you build marketing funnels from start to finish. Our focus within or the core power of the platform is email marketing, automation sequences, and recently we launched our AI chatbot, which you can deploy on your landing pages, your funnels, your websites, and even social media. So if you are looking for a marketing stack, whether you're starting fresh or you'd like to replace your existing, please connect with us. George is going to drop in the chat a link to our demo page, and one of our success team will help you understand if you're a right fit or not. All right. I'm really excited about today's session. We spend 10 plus years building pretty much marketing funnels, marketing tools to maximize the funnel. And today, our guest is Sean Garner. Sean is a marketing consultant, a StoryBrand certified guide, and founder of Sean Garner Consulting. He helps local business owners dominate their industry with clear messaging, high converting websites, and proven marketing systems. He also hosts the Marketing Domination Show podcast. George, please drop in the chat, everybody, a link for the awesome podcast that Sean really keeps pushing. And great content, by the way. And co-owns also WellSpot IV, and he serves as a marketing director at WellSpot Functional. Sean's insight will give you practical and actionable steps to improve your funnel and grow with confidence. Sean, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Hopefully we can get some people fired up. You said they're all different time zones and everything here, so we'll try to bring some energy here. But I'm very excited for the opportunity. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with the audience today.
And great setup, by the way. I want to start from the beginning, right? Everybody here might be a seasoned marketer. Anybody listening to this recording knows what a sales funnel is, but at the same time, the concept is fluid, has been changing a lot over the past few years, especially with the advance of AI. So tell me, what is the difference between a sales funnel and the website?
Yeah, great question. I think that marketing is one of those things. So I was in the fitness industry for a long time, and there's a lot of similarities to that, to where people call things different things. One person might call it a lunge, another person calls it a split squat, like in the fitness world. And the same thing happens in marketing, right? We have these terms that we use a lot, but people don't use them the same way. So whenever I and my team, whenever we use the phrase sales funnel, we don't mean like a specific software. Like I think that term got really popular with like tools like, ClickUp, High Level, or VBOUT, like all these different funnel softwares. And people think that it's a tool that you can use or a specific style of landing page or a flow of a website structure. And that's not what we mean. Whenever we say a sales funnel, what that means to me and for our team is that's the complete relationship building process from taking a prospect of not knowing who you are to becoming a super fan customer for life. And so in a sales funnel, a piece of that is your website or your landing pages, but it's a very small piece of it. In order to have that whole relationship journey created, you need more than just the website or the landing page or a style of website or a software even. You need the whole process. So the sales funnel to us, it includes the foundations of your brand messaging and your branding. So making sure everything visually looks the right way and we're using the right words to connect throughout all of our marketing and messaging. It does create, it is part of your landing page and your website. So the place that we're actually sending traffic to online, and it'd be like individual landing pages or your overall website. It's things like your lead capture, your lead generator, whether it be PDFs, quizzes, mini courses, things like that, where people are opting into. That is a part of your sales funnel. It's the follow-up nurture that goes along with SMS and text messages. And it's just your overall encompassing digital storefront, from your social media accounts, how you show up on there, your profiles to your Google business profiles. If you're a local business, it's that whole thing makes up your sales funnel. And then a part of that is your website. So even though a website is part of a funnel, they are not the same thing. It is a part of the whole bigger picture that you need in order to be successful with your marketing.
And I think that's one of the reasons why websites moves from being this elaborate chain of thousands of pages into more and more defined user experience. So now we see bigger companies trying to eliminate clutter from the previous menu taxonomy and even their sitemap, because they're realizing the user experience on the website, which is part of the funnel, can actually impact the funnel experience and have people bounce off the whole process. So it's funny. I've seen the evolution of this since I started web design in 2006, 2007. And now it's like even the biggest brands are trying to minimize the user experience on their website because of that. Just an observation.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
that what you said, that's a great thing. And that's what, the next part here of what a sales funnel looks like. That to me is what one of the huge key benefits is. Imagine like if you had a brick and mortar physical location and you could have an individual doorway set up for the specific thing that that customer wanted when they walked in. Like if you imagine going to like a home improvement store, man, if I walk in this door, I'm only wanting power tools. So that's all I have to see. I don't have to walk all the way to the back of the store to find the thing that I want. That's kind of the beauty now of how websites and the whole funnel process has evolved, and where I think there's honestly a lot of opportunity is to be able to create those different entrance points so customers aren't confused and they don't have to dig to find the information. Because that's one of the big mistakes that I see when I'm looking at websites now for clients or prospective clients that reach out to us, is their website is just a jumbled up mess. It's confusing. Like it's difficult to even figure out, well, what do you do? I mean, okay, that sounds great that this is your service that you provide, but well, how do you do that? Is it a software program? Is it consulting? Is it done for you? And not being very clear about what you do. And so that's one of the benefits of this whole funnel process, to be able to capture that information and then nurture the whole relationship. So you can ultimately just showcase your customers of the problem that you solve for them, and you can make it a lot more personalized and individualized for them.
right. So in terms of what a sales funnel looks like in 2025, can you lay it out for us? And maybe I don't know if you have any examples you can show, but if somebody walks into you right now and says, Sean, tell me how does a funnel looks like now?
Yeah, great question. So, what I would do and what I would say is we need to start foundationally with your messaging. So, whenever we talk about brand, a lot of times people will think about the visual aspect of things, your logos, your colors and fonts, and how things visually look, which is important. But I personally don't know anybody that was scrolling online, walking into the store, and it's like, oh my God, did you see that logo? I want to give them money. Like, no, it doesn't happen that way. What happened though is the second part of your brand, which is the words that you use. Somebody heard something, read something, saw something on text that connected with them, made them feel a certain way, and
Right.
made them move towards that purchasing decision. So where I think there's a big opportunity for what a sales funnel is locking down that foundational brand standpoint of the words that you use. With the
Mhm.
rise of generative content and AI, chat GPT and stuff, people are creating a lot of words, but they're just making noise and they're not really breaking through. How you get to break through is you have to follow what we use is what's called the StoryBrand framework, and use story to help break through the noise and create clarity. So just like you have this visual aspect of your brand, your logos, colors, and fonts, and make sure that everything visually looks good, we do that exact same thing for the words that we use. So creating different talking points that follow the story arc of having a character that has a problem, that you position yourself as a guide so you can give them a plan, so you can call them to action so they can not experience bad things and experience all these good things, creating those talking points that we filter all of our messaging to. So then you can use that as the foundation to build your entire sales funnel. So that way it looks like your brand. It sounds like your brand. And as you're doing this, it's not the biggest thing I would say to take away from it is that it's not about you. Your customers are bombarded with marketing messages. And so if you really want it to stick and land and stand out in the age of so much like content overload, you have to be very, very clear with your messaging, very, very clear on the specific problem that you solve, not service or product that you sell, but the problem that you solve. So your customers can start to identify your product, service, or brand with the solution to a problem, not a product or service. Because whenever you lump yourself in with a product and service, now you are just like everybody else that is selling that thing. Whenever you link it to a problem, now you instantly become the industry leader because you're able to articulate it in a way that your customers are thinking.
So basically, sales funnel 10 years ago is the same as the sales funnel now. The only difference is how more focused you are in delivering that North Star of a problem that you're solving towards. So communicating basically, let's just give a quick example. You,
Yeah.
for instance, you help brands create marketing systems and funnels that convert. That's your ultimate goal. But nobody cares about the process. You're talking to your customers in the aspect of you get all this traffic, how you can turn it into business with the right messaging. Is
Yeah.
that is that
Yeah.
about the
So
right?
yeah. So I would say a lot of maybe the outside looking in, a lot of the stuff is the same as structurally as far as the things that you need. But where you have the opportunity and what's different now because of how easy it is to create some of this stuff now, it's a lot easier to personalize things. So I think that what where I've seen a bigger shift is in the messaging that people use, like I said, to where you're talking more about the problems and less about the services. Nobody wants a website. Nobody wants paid ads. Nobody wants a doctor. Nobody wants a personal trainer. Nobody wants an accountant. They want the problem that those things solve. You don't want a website. You want to make sure that you stand out online. You don't want a sales funnel. You want leads to collect on autopilot. You don't want a personal trainer. You want to look better with your shirt off. You don't want an accountant. You want to pay less money in your taxes. And I think where there's a big opportunity for businesses to stand out is to stop trying to focus on putting their products and services on the forefront of trying to sell people a thing, but instead understanding that what a funnel is, it's a relationship building process. And you don't build relationships with people by trying to shove products and services down their throat, but it's by guiding them and solving their solution. They're positioning yourself as the solutions to the problems that they're dealing with. So there's lots of tactical new things that are out right now as far as like personalizing SMS text messages for follow-ups and different AI chatbot tools and stuff that you can use to communicate as part of the journey. So there's tactical things that have changed, but overall, good foundations of relationship building and sales is just nurturing. It's just being human. And I think to me, that is another opportunity that I've seen is with the rise of popularity with all the AI stuff is people going way too far in the ditch of, I don't even want to talk to anybody, any of my potential customers anymore. I'm going to have AI chatbots and stuff like that do everything for me. Like where you can really stand out now is be a freaking human, talk to people, have a conversation and connect with them because that's a thing that people I think are still longing for.
And it's funny because now there's actually a communication problem where people are starting to talk like AI. So people are consuming so much of,
Yeah.
back and forth questions and answers, which is great. I think it's an empowering tool. And I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute. But people are just communicating exactly as ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini communicates back to us. And that's becoming a problem. And it's in
They don't have
2025.
yeah, they can't have a conversation anymore. It's like, oh, well, I'll text you or I can email it over to you. And that's where, I mean, if you want to stand out on like not online, but just with anything in business, learn to communicate, learn how to be human. That's your superpower. That's yeah. I could go on a whole, I guess, thing on that.
I agree. And I do believe people are starting to insert in the funnel parts of, am I going to get found from those Gen AI and Chat GPT? And if somebody is in Gemini and they're searching for something and asking for feedback, am I going to get found and
Yep.
how? And I think that's becoming part of the funnel, which is something different in 2025. But I want to dive right now a little bit into even deeper, something that you um, actually have put together are the components, the 10 components to include on a website and landing page to maximize conversion. So I think that's something relevant. Over the years, we worked with thousands of customers, helping them build landing pages. And I do believe your list is actually spot on and even more extensive. So I would like you, if you don't mind, walking us through those 10 components.
Yeah. Thanks for that. That makes me feel good. All right. Can we see my screen right here? Just now?
I'm going to stop my screen
Oh,
and you can take it over at the top. Go ahead.
Yes, we can see it. So
you make it, it's full screen.
I don't see it right now. I'm not sure if you're sharing.
I'm trying to. It's not allowing me. Can
There
you
you
see it
go.
now?
Yes, yes. And by
Awesome.
the
So we can
way,
see.
for everybody who's with us, the recording for this will be provided to you after. So if you miss anything, if you want to share it again, if you get some awesome takeaways from Sean, which I'm sure you will, this recording will be available to you. So go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. So what I will say is, spoiler alert, we're giving this to you for free, but still, I want to make sure that you
Thank you.
guys can, I want to make sure that we go over it because I don't want this to be just another PDF that you download. You can get this from our website. It's seangarner.co/website wireframe. And this is the 10 section website wireframe that I think that if you do this on your business, you will instantly start seeing higher conversions with this. And this is going to be used for your main homepage. I would use this for as the foundation for every landing page that I made, whether it be like a PPC or a paid ads landing page that we're driving traffic to, an individual product or service page. Use this foundation and structure to make sure that you're hitting all of the things that need to be said. Because remember, a sales funnel is this relationship building process and journey. What this website does is it touches on all of the aspects and the things that people are thinking through in their mind to make sure that we are building this relationship with them. So first thing that we have on our website. So the other thing I'll say is there's 10 sections on here. There technically can be more. These can go in any order. Think of them as Lego blocks of building a website. The only one that has to go first is the header because that's the main one. Everything underneath that, you guys can mix and match this in whatever order makes sense for your business, your brand, your website, products, and services you're selling. But if you don't have all 10 of them there, you are missing out on an aspect that your customer is looking for when they go to a landing page like this. So first thing is the header. So the header is the most important section of your website or landing page. Whenever somebody lands on it for the first time, you need to be able to answer these 3 questions in 5 seconds or you're going to lose them. Number 1, what do you do? I can't tell you how many times you go to a website and you have to struggle. Well,
Yeah.
what do these guys actually even do? What are they trying to sell? I don't understand. It sounds something like super nice and fluffy, like we help you become your best self. What the heck does that mean? Like, that's great. You're using this like artistic language, but clarity always wins. Be really, really clear and direct on what you do. The second thing is what problem or how do you make their life better? So we don't want to just tell them what we want to do. We want to paint that aspirational identity, the thing that they're trying to reach out and become. Tell them how their life's going to be better whenever they buy your product or service. And the third one, this seems obvious, but everybody here can self-evaluate your own website right now. How do I do business with you? Most businesses would make a lot more money on their website if you would change your call to action from contact us or learn more to buy now, schedule a call, book your assessment, book your appointment. But a lot of businesses, they try to be very vague. And so whenever you're vague, it just doesn't show confidence. So your customers aren't going to have,
They
you
don't
shouldn't
know.
have, You don't want people to have to search to pay you money. Like if they're having to dig out, like the two most common mistakes I see with that issue is they're using very vague calls to action or they're changing it. The top right-hand corner of your website is the most valuable real estate. That might say contact us. Then in the middle of the page, it might say learn more. Be clear and direct and repeat it all throughout the page.
You know what's sad is that people sometimes, it's just they don't know. Business owners, they might be at the mercy of a designer or a template, and they're simply just following what that designer or template have put forth. They're like, they don't know this is the best practice. It's not. So this is why, I mean, bringing a framework like this during a sales call and saying to a client, listen, we can build you a landing page. This is the framework we follow to bring you the best results is actually more scientific than having them buy a template or hire somebody just completely random for cheap, you know?
Yeah, that's a problem is most business owners, they hire a website designer to build them a website. And the problem with that is the website designer does exactly what the business owner tells them to. So they have something that might look pretty. It's got a beautiful picture of their building or something like that, but they're not trained in conversion copywriting or, you know, persuasion of max conversion of landing pages and stuff like that. So they're doing what the business owner told them. You're good at what you do. You don't study this stuff. So use a system like this, and it promises you're going to get a lot higher conversion. So if you, as you're wireframing out, writing all the copy and everything for your website, I would recommend you spend about 70% of your time and effort and energy on this header, because your header has to answer those three questions very, very quickly and clearly, and you have to earn the scroll. So you have to answer those questions so it makes people want to continue to scroll through the page or take immediate action because it is just so clear and obvious. And so that's where you want to spend all of your focused energy on this. Again, on here, we've got talking points where we can go. You guys can read this whenever you download it. Again, it's seangarner.co/website wireframe. Download it. You'll get this whole thing right here.
Link is in the chat.
Okay, perfect. The next section is going to be your value stack. So we typically on this, we want to list 3 benefits for people doing business with you. This is not features. This is not the things that you sell. This is the benefits they're going to get from this. So using like an accounting example, a feature might be quarterly reporting. That's a feature. A benefit is confidence that you're always financially on track. So we want to have the benefits listed right here to, again, earn the scroll to keep on going through the page.
That's good. People usually do the opposite. They put the
exactly. Yeah, it's easy. Like, oh, I'm going to give you this and this and this and this, but there's no like emotional attachment to it. The next section, like talking about the emotional attachment here, is what we call the stakes section. And so on this, I'm hope you can see, I got lots of energy. I'm a super positive person. However, in marketing, we do want to talk a little bit about the problem and the stakes that our customers are dealing with if they don't do business with us. So I am not at all saying be a fear monger, be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but we do want to remind customers of the present problem that they're dealing with and the present pain that they're experiencing by dealing with that problem. So on this is where we typically would have a section like, are you struggling with, and we list a few bullet pointed items out, or we can put that in a paragraph form that shows them that we know what they're dealing with, because this is one key point here. The better that you can articulate your customer's pain and problem, the more that they will automatically assume that you have the solution. So without even saying that, hey, our XYZ product or service is going to make your life better, if you can be really, really clear on the problem that they're dealing with and how they feel dealing with it, they are just going to assume, wow, he gets me, she gets me. They're going to assume that you have the solution for it. The next section of our website that we want to create is this is where we have our value proposition. So this is typically where we do list a little bit of the features and what we actually do. What are the deliverables, the things that you offer? Like for us as a marketing agency, this is where we list things like, you know, website design, SEO, StoryBrand messaging, fractional CMO consulting, and the actual services that we do. But as we're listing them, you may list the title might be the feature or the deliverable, but in the description, we want to lead with that benefit focused copy. So it's not just what they're going to get, like, oh, we're going to build you a 10-page website and it's going to do, no, it's going to lead with the benefit for that feature that's tied in and the value that your company is going to serve or provide with your products or service that you provide. The next section that we want to have is what we call the guide section. So most people's website is a glorified social media post about how awesome they are. On our websites, whenever we structure them, we only want to talk about us very, very little. And on this section, the guide section is where we talk about ourselves, and it is literally very, very little. It's like 2 sentences. And so on this section of the website, our goal is to position ourselves as the guide to solve their problem, not the hero. So how we do that is with empathy and authority. So we're typically going to have a statement that says, man, we understand what it feels like to deal with XYZ. Aren't you just frustrated by having to deal with XYZ? Many of our customers have dealt with XYZ. We just want to show that we're relatable and we can connect with them and that we're empathetic towards what they're dealing with. Flip side of that is we also want to show authority. We want to be able to show social proof from major brands that we've worked with and done work with in the past. We want to show specific client testimonials and results that we've gotten for people, that we have authority to solve this problem for people just like them. An issue that I see when it comes to creating these testimonials is what they will do is they're very vague. It's like, oh, Richard's a really nice guy. VBOUT's a really nice software. That's great. That makes you feel good. Maybe you can print it off and hang it on your fridge. But what will convert is when it's a specific result. Man, I use VBOUT and my conversion rate like increased 35%. Richard helped me do an audit of my company and instantly showed me how I could save 20%. Like, you want the specific result.
Framework,
yeah, the specific result that they have gotten as it comes to your product and service. Pro tip on this. These are really difficult to get right, because when you ask clients for them, you're either going to get a no, I'm busy, I'll do it later, or they're going to send you like 2 paragraphs of like how you changed their life and all this stuff. So what I typically do to get this kind of stuff is, let's say I was talking to Richard as clients, like, hey, Richard, remember how we did that webinar and we were able to showcase a really clear 10-step framework that clients could use on their website so they could get conversion. And it was the best VBOUT webinar that was ever done. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Can I say that on my website? And you just ask their permission. So you write it for them and get their permission to list it. You're going to get a much more specific result that you can list on your website to get the end goal that you're trying to achieve and position yourself as the guide. The next section.
When you, sorry to interrupt, but you can ask your customers for a 15 to 20 minute call to kind of understand. And we have a framework, which is awesome. I can provide it to you guys. You can also get it on a VBOUT course that we have. But basically, it's a very simple 10 questions framework. How was your life before the product? What was the problem you had? What were you using? Why did you switch? How easy was it to switch? I'm talking an example of a software. What were the results after? Would you recommend the product? So it's like a very basic 10 questions that you can literally have conversations with customers, and all you need is a few of them to establish that section on the website.
Yeah, and if you don't ask, very few people are just going to do this for you. Again, it does ask, you have to follow up to get these, but very few businesses are willing to do it. That's why the ones that do it, they do have frameworks like that. They're the ones that get this stuff and make it successful. So the next section that we want to have on our website is, not everybody wants to list their prices based upon the products and services that they sell. So that's fine. But I do think that it's a good idea to show customers, if you have packages, how to put your products and services together. Even if it's just a one-off thing that you do, think about how you can package the deliverables in ways that it makes sense for customers to understand how you're going to work with them. But again, pricing is optional. I think it's based upon what you're selling, and the price point is whether that you list the packages and stuff together. This next section is what I think is the second most important part on the website. The first one is the header section. This one is the plan section. So on this is, we want to showcase to our potential customers how easy it is to do business with us. Remember, I said we don't want them to have to burn too many calories to figure out what it is that we do, how we can help them, and what they need to do to get started. We want to show them a very simple 3-step plan on what it looks like to do business with us. If you imagine your customers, they're on one side of a river, you're on another side with the happily ever after for them. Well, in the middle of this is this raging river of indecision and confusion. What we want to do is we want to give them 3 little steps or rocks that they can put in that river to come across to experience the happily ever after. So this is where we do want to list it out. Something as simple as step 1, schedule your call. Step 2, we create a custom plan for you. Step 3, your business grows and you're seen as the industry leader. Like, we want to give it very simple so your customers know, oh, wow, I can do that. The greatest 3-step plan I've ever seen was on a box of Pop Tarts. Step one, open Pop Tarts. Step two, place in toaster. Step three, eat and enjoy. Like even Pop Tarts has a 3-step process, and it's so simple. You're like, oh, of course I could do that. But adding this section on your website will instantly increase conversions because you're going to show your customers how difficult or how easy it is to do business with you. And where's a reality check for you is whenever we start working with clients to create this part of their website, like, well, our business is pretty complicated. We can't just explain it in 3 steps. I say, and that's why you're not making as much money as you want. Because if your process, if you internally even think that your process is too complicated, what the heck do you think your customers are thinking? They can't figure this stuff out. And you're the industry insider. You do this for a living. This is your company and you can't explain it to them in a simple way. What do you think your customers are doing? So you don't have to give them the whole every single step of deliverable that you're doing, but give them 3 steps that they need to do in order to take action and do business with you. The next section is what we call the explanatory paragraph. So our agency is a big SEO agency. So we do a lot of search engine optimization content. This is where for the people of like, oh, there's not very much content on my website. True. Because we want to make it really easy to scan and skim and everything with good bulleted headlines. We also want to have large sections of text for SEO to where we can make sure we're putting out all the things in there for the people that are like, I'm going to read every word before I buy this product or service. We want to make sure that we're answering all the questions in there. And so there's actually a little ad lib section on this. You guys can plug in your company name, product, services, problems, and stuff. And this would be another bonus pro tip. This right here is not only a great framework to use for adding extra copy to your website, it's also a really great starting point if you want to add a sales video to your website. I would use this little Mad Lib thing right here as a really great sales video template for having like a little like 2 to 3 minute video on your website that talks about what you do. Next section is what we call the lead magnet. So not everybody that comes to your website is going to be instantly ready to, even if all this stuff is done perfectly, going to be ready to buy right now. So what we do want to do is we want to create something that's called a transitional call to action. For those customers that aren't ready to buy right now, we want to create some type of a lead magnet, lead generator, all that we talked about marketing terms, all the ways right there. But in essence, we want to make sure that we have something of value, has a clear, catchy title, positions us as the guide and expert for them, and gives them a quick win or the first step in the process. And we want to have that on our website, whether that be a quiz, a free resource, a downloadable guide, a checklist, a 10-section wireframe website template that you can download. We want to have something on there of value where they are giving us their information so we can follow back up with them, whether that be with SMS marketing, email marketing. We want to make sure that we have something of value for the people that weren't quite ready, but still like, okay, I think that you might have the solution for what I'm looking for, but I'm not quite ready to commit to a call yet. We want to have something right there that's just very simple. Image of the thing, headline, subheadline, and then contact information, download my guide, send me my guide, whatever the thing is. Then the last part of the website is your footer. This is what we just call the junk drawer. So everything that you think belongs right up here in your header, navigation links, all the other stuff, that's where we want to dump this stuff down here. Your hire page, your careers page, your links to your blog articles, your contact page, all that stuff we want down here because our websites should be designed to do 2 things: collect leads and make you money. So all the things that prevent people from doing those things right down there, we want to put right here in the footer of the website. So these are the 10 sections. Make sure you guys download the guide. There's other things that you can add in here, but these are, to me, the foundational 10. Every landing page needs these. There's other things that you can add into it where maybe it's like we talked earlier about a video section where you have a sales video on your page. You could do a bigger section of the case study, or you could expand that guide section right up here to where it's not just quotes, but then you also have another section of case studies or your Google reviews. There's lots of other things that you can add in here, but these to me are the foundational 10 to where you need to have those 10 things to make sure that you're at least maximizing those conversions.
This is a great framework. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
Download it, you guys. I think many of you here who are listening to this are agencies or marketers. I think this framework stands time. It doesn't matter if it's last year or it's going to be next year. The components, how we communicate emotions, how we strike a nerve with the customer is the only way to sell. People buy more from emotions than from just reading a bunch of jargon. So I like this. I would just add, and I've seen people put AI chatbots now on the website especially if the website is quite long, because they have on the AI bot that sort of predefined questions where they know people are asking for something in particular. And also people's behaviors in finding information is changing a little bit to conversation, not just to one way, reading information. So AI chatbots, I'd definitely think about that. Let's talk a bit about now that you've followed that framework, you've built an awesome website or awesome splash page for your funnel. How do you drive traffic? That's a big challenge for a lot of us as well.
Yeah, I mean, quick version, there's two ways. You either work for it or you pay for it. It's either organic or it's paid. Those are the big things. And there's different aspects of each one of those of what is organic or non-paid versus paid traffic and everything. But me personally, I always, with our agency, I like to start with organic. I want to make sure that I've got all of my foundational things set before I start worrying about meta ads and Facebook ads. And now there's obviously nuances to all of this stuff, but you need to make sure that you have your structure set before you start wasting money on whether it be Google search ad, like pay-per-click stuff, or meta ads and Instagram ads, stuff like that. Like I want to make sure that I have my foundation set, because for me and how I do marketing, this is where there's lots of nuances to all this. The type of clients that we like to work with are not the ones that are just looking to get a few extra leads. They want to be seen as the industry leader in the industry, what we call the industry dominator. The person that stands out is like, no, these guys are the best at what they do. Well, if you think about what do the best do, they don't just sit back and run paid ads. They are creating large amounts of content, whether that be blogs, long form video content and stuff like that. They're creating those things to build up their brand and to share their knowledge and their information and stuff like that. It's not just spinning up these meta, ad accounts and just dumping a bunch of money in ads. And when they get shut down, go to the next one. That can work for a short term. But for us, we want to set the foundations because we want to be the industry dominators. We want the people that people are looking up to for all the industries where everything, all the industries that we work with, from attorneys to plumbers to, med spas, like they're not just looking to get a few extra patients or customers. They want to stand out. So to me, you do that with organic content. You're sharing your expertise. I think that there's a big opportunity now where you see a lot of the overhype with the LLMs and making sure that you're showing up in those and everything of how people are searching. Like you said, the conversational search, which very much agree with. I'll give you the short version. I have yet to find, there's always a caveat. I have yet to find a website that is dominating with traditional Google SEO, Google search, that is not showing up in ChatGPT and the LLMs. But I have found websites that are showing up in the LLMs and not showing up in search. So if you want to make sure that you're showing up everywhere, do it right. Show up in organic search with Google. And then these LLMs and stuff are eventually going to, it's honestly, it's all going to be the same thing here anyway. It's just how people are searching things, but the process is going to be the same. I know, like, SEO side rant here, like in the past couple of weeks, there's been lots of like chatter and stuff about Reddit and everything, because that used to be one of like the big things of like where these LLMs were crawling data and stuff and crawling Reddit and stuff, but now they've even stopped that. So if people are looking for like short-term tactics to try and game the system, like that's not going to be the industry dominator stuff that you need for longevity.
I work with this business owner who was literally, he's like, every day I go into ChatGPT and I talk about my business because I want to show up when somebody else is asking about my business. And I like keep doing that. I don't know how far this is gonna take you, but if you have the time, hey, it could work. Nobody knows.
Wouldn't be my recommendation, but yeah, if he wants to talk about it, because eventually it's just gonna like learning. It's just like spitting up his own information back to him. It's like, of course we know about your business because it's just looking at your own history and everything. But so anyway, like I start with organic and then I move to paid. So again, our primary focus on our agency is local service-based businesses. So for us, we start with organic content, making sure that we've got all the pillar pages made for like the location and the service areas that we're trying to target. Then for us, the next variation that we go down to is then we go to Google has something called LSA ads or local service ads. You're a local service business. That is the best return on investment for your paid ads with inside of Google, because you only pay for the lead. It's not pay per click or impressions or anything like that, like on social ads and stuff. You're only paying when somebody sends you a message or gives you a call and they're looking for your specific service in your specific service area. So that's where we start next with paid. Then after that, because again, we're a SEO agency, then we start with PPC and pay per click ads on Google search ads. Then after that, once we've got that stuff rocking and rolling, then we're going to start looking at meta ads, social ads, video ads on YouTube and stuff based on the industries that we work with. You know, if you're a big SaaS company and stuff, that approach might not make sense or even possible, especially with the LSA stuff. But that's what we've seen work really well with local service-based businesses. Start with organic, LSA, PPC, then you can move on to meta ads and everything else to start driving traffic to the funnel.
Now, I do hear people asking me all the time, do writing blogs work? Because most people are finding their answers not by simply searching, but by going into ChatGPT, asking and getting the information they want, or they're using Perplexity or Gemini or even Google AI result search that doesn't take you deep into the website. And that there are all these different kind of studies that came out how search traffic has dipped dramatically because people are just communicating with Google's chat, basically. Um, so do writing blogs still work the same way it used to before? But on the upside is you would not show up in those results if you don't have enough blog content. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like how,
Yeah, great question. So does it work the same way it used to? No. Is it still valuable? Yes,
yeah.
because you still do need to have I think you still need a place to have that information. What we call the thing, I think so many people get lost in like the semantics of the thing, like, oh, blogging doesn't work. Yes, like it doesn't work to like grow a brand by having be known as like this big blogger, but you still need a content place on your website to put the knowledge base of information for your product services, your industry expertise that you have on your website. And a blog is an easy content format by how most websites are structured to deliver that content. I don't think that people are going to, it's less and less working now of like, what's the, 10, how can I save money on my taxes? And it's going to pull up a blog article from an accounting firm that's like, here's 10 ways to save money on your taxes. Well, now what's going to happen is AI is reading all of that and it will pull like a few from your blog, a few from another blog that wrote on that. It's going to show that in the AR overview. And hopefully you get a link and a mention, but then very rarely are people going to click through to your website for that. However, to show up for more of the bottom funnel topics and stuff, you do need all that topical authority and everything built on your website to have the opportunity to rank for, the best accounting firm and stuff like that near me, or the best med spa, the best, even SaaS product and stuff like that. You do need all that topicality. So it's not going to drive traffic as much, but it still helps with your topical authority for making sure that Google, these LLMs and stuff like that, see your website as the expertise for the other thing that they're ultimately searching for.
I always say write for the AI engine then, don't write for people. If you think AI is going to consume it and then spit it back on the other side when people are talking about it, just write for that. But you're writing towards a solution for a problem for somebody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree. And I read blogs. I do, get some news from some of the people that I follow through email and I click through and I go to their blog and I read it. It's not always that I'm consuming things from AI because we're not going to forget something very important is where the hell is AI getting the data? It's from us. We wrote all that information that AI is actually returning back to us. It didn't, descend from, angels or from some Anunnakis and they delivered that information packaged in a server. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there's a limited amount of information available on the web, even for AI, and it's always looking for more. We can be that more, but you have to stand out. That's the only way I think you're gonna get noticed by search moving forward.
Yeah.
Um, I wanna shift gears a little bit, talk about podcasts and something that everybody wants to do it. Most people don't know how to. They overthink it. I don't want to say they don't know how to because honestly, I think anybody can. But it just they overthink it. They don't know how to edit videos. Is it gonna get me traffic? Tell me more about that, especially that you're so good at it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. But I don't think it's a big change, shift in topic because I think this is the missing key for filling in the gaps of writing for AI and then writing blogs and everything. So first off, again, like I said, people got in the blinders. Blogging doesn't work. Okay, yes, it doesn't work the way. Also, shift your mindset on doing a video podcast. I believe I'll say this. I have not found anybody that owns a business that shouldn't have a video podcast. And this is why. Don't think about it as a video podcast. You're not trying to create the next Joe Rogan experience type podcast where the goal is to have a big podcast. What I want business owners to think about when it comes to a video podcast is what is the greatest return on my investment of my time to be able to create content and to distribute my expertise and to be able to place it in a way that is my unique tone of voice and perspective so it can be picked up by blogs, LLMs, and everything else that's out there. So this is what I think every business owner should do with having a video podcast. And this is why it's a great return on investment is one, there's a couple of different ways to leverage it, right? So you could use it if you are trying to expand your network. It's a great way. VBOUT's awesome. Richard's awesome. I didn't have a clue either one of them existed until about a month ago whenever we reached out and connected. And so it instantly is used as a platform to where you can connect with other people. If Richard would have just emailed me out of the blue saying, hey, let's connect for coffee, probably wouldn't have happened. But it gives you a platform so you can connect with other people in your network to ultimately expand your network. So that's one way just to leverage this thing is just use it as a connection tool. Don't worry about downloads and subscribes and stuff like that. Use it as a way to connect with people because anybody will want to come on and talk about themselves for a little bit. And you can use this as a lead generation tactic and just expanding your network. The other thing, and this is where I think the biggest win is leveraging it to share your information. So right now, AI is just a lot of people go to ChatGPT and like, write me a blog article over, best tax saving tips for 2025. And it's spitting out that content. But like you said, Rich, it's got to come from somewhere. A much better use would be is ask AI or even go to Google and find out people also ask, get a list of those questions. Go get a tool like Riverside FM is a really easy video podcast platform. Get that, create your own account. It's like $30 a month, and you're just going to hit record and you're going to answer those questions. Then what you're going to do is once you answer those questions, you are going to take that, let's say 15-minute, 30-minute YouTube video. You're going to quote unquote call it a podcast. You're going to put the long form video on YouTube. You're then going to cut it up into several shorts. So each 10 to 30-minute episode that you do, you could easily get 3 to 5 plus shorts from it. So now you got daily content on things like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube shorts and everything. Then you can now take that transcript and now feed AI much better context in your perspective. So then you can take that and spin that into a blog article that's not generic content now because it's your perspective, it's your tone of voice, and it's how you think about the topic. So it's like people say blog AI content doesn't rank. Yes, bad AI content, just like bad regular content doesn't rank if you copy and paste it from somebody else. This is going to be your unique perspective on it. You can create a blog post over the content and the topics that you discussed. You can also take that, create a show notes page on your website, embed those videos on both of those pages. So now that obviously helps feed those two things together. By having a podcast, it also gets more backlink opportunities for your website because you're distributing this content and more people are apt to share a podcast page than they are a service page of your product and service that you do. So there's more backlink opportunities that you can get. And for you, you can also use that to spin down for LinkedIn articles, emails and stuff to send out to your list and everything. And for you, it was anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes of your time to record all this content, and you get way more output than like thinking you have to sit here and talk to your phone and create a bunch of short form videos and everything. It's the best.
It's easier to talk. It's easier to talk than to write.
For me, I have not found a better return on investment of your time than doing video podcasts. When you understand the end goal in mind, my podcast, I'm not trying to have hundreds of millions of downloads. I'm using it for a way to share my perspective on what we do. So then my team can leverage that and distribute that content everywhere. So it just feeds the whole machine and drives traffic that way.
And, I want to just put this out there. Our podcasts don't get thousands of people. I mean, we do get decent views when we distribute them, but I always thought maybe our attendance is low, or maybe we should get more. But then I consistently get people emailing me saying, Richard, we watched this episode a year and a half ago, and it was about this topic. Finally, I was able to kind of get ideas to launch my agency. Now we did launch our agency, and I want to send you a big thank you. We're gonna use VBOUT, or we're just gonna be ready to be using like this is the return on information, as I call it. That's unbeatable. Nobody will forget a good teacher is really what I remind myself. Like every good teacher I had when I was a child, I still remember, and every good podcast that I watch, I still remember what I learned from that podcast. So
And again, like the type of people that we like to work with, and that people everybody wants to be the industry leader, the industry dominator. If you look at the big industry leaders, typically have a podcast, they typically have a book, like they've got a big personal brand where they're creating a lot of content, and this enables you to do that. Because that would be, if you didn't know how to get started on this, what I would say to do is outline and wireframe out your process,
yeah.
and then start creating little mini episodes over each one of those things, because then that's another way to leverage the thing. Create, 30 plus episodes over your process, your frameworks, how you do things for your business, and now pull all those transcripts, and now let's use that to write a book too.
Yesterday I had a 30-second pitch for something, and I put it in a notebook LM, which is a Google product. It's
Yeah.
free. You guys can download it. And it generated a 12-minute podcast audio, which blew my mind of how good it was. Like it literally just created. It augmented a 30-second pitch into a 12-minute presentation. It's just unbelievable what you can do with AI these days. And anybody can download it. It's absolutely free. It's a Google product, and you can talk to the podcast, and there's even this participation kind of mode where you can ask questions and they will answer you. So you can practice there, and the barrier to entry is zero. And that brings me to the last point for today is how AI is reshaping it beyond just coming up with content. What is your take on that, and how AI can be used in a creative way beyond just content to optimize a funnel?
Yeah, I think that the most common use case that you hear of people using it is to automate something, like respond to emails, or respond to a text or something like that, or generative, where it's like, hey, create me a blog post, write an email, and stuff like that. I think where there's still an opportunity where people aren't thinking about how to leverage it the most is using it as an assistant, not to do things, but I guess probably almost more, I would say more of like a coach. Like, what are the blind spots, the things that are missing? Internally, we use it big time at our agency for data analysis. So think about all the reports and things that you have access to in your business, whether it be like P&Ls, data reports from the marketing efforts. If you work with the market, if you're not a marketing agency and you're working with them now, and they're sending you SEO reports, Google Analytics reports, and stuff like that, most people just gloss right over that stuff. But
Yeah.
what we have found is being able to take all of that data and dump it into a platform like ChatGPT and ask it to help, assimilate the data. Let us know, what are some blind spots? What are some things that are working well that we should double down on? What are some big missed opportunities that we have? We take all of that stuff, and that's what I have found where I see, I guess, the the best return of investment, because it'll show you the blind spots, like writing the blogs and the emails and stuff. Yes, that saves time, and you'll see a return eventually. But that's a way where you can kind of get real time feedback on, well, what's working in my business right now? What are the blind spots? What other opportunities I have? What is my competition doing? What are some questions I should be asking you? And using it that way for interpreting and breaking down data, more than just create me this really cool blog post.
Right. And I think you can use the agent form. I used it with a sample page that I built. I went to ChatGPT's agent. I don't know if everybody in the world has it open on their account now, but I think you might need to be paid version. And I told the agent, I want you to browse this page and pretend you're a visitor, and then pinpoint the strength and the weaknesses of the page. And it did it. It went in there and it's like, well, I couldn't see this part on the side. I think the CTA should be changed, and you should display this on this side. I took part of that and I went to Claude. Claude is a little bit better on some of the creative coding, front end stuff, nothing too crazy. And I coded the suggestion on Claude, brought it back into the page, told the agent to flip again the visit. And I'm just sitting there blown, like enjoying it so much. 3, 4 hours into it, I'm like, okay, I think this is addictive. I'm gonna have to step away from it. Um, so I guess the takeaway for me, beyond just coming up with content, is now you have the agent modes that could literally test the funnel that you're building to tell you where the weaknesses are. Is that correct?
Yeah, that and just especially with the agent mode is doing much more deeper competitive analysis and everything we've seen it. And then on October 6th, they just had the Open AI day and they were showing all the new features and everything within the developer mode. And
The builder, the
yeah, the
agent builder.
builder
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
agent
That's gonna
builder
be
thing is going to be crazy. That's going to be, I heard somebody else call it the Zapier killer. Like it's going to be able to do a lot of really crazy cool things of like making agents that other agents can use and access. Like that's going to be, I think, the next, you know, 15, 20 years ago, one of the big tech booms was people that were app builders and app developers. I think using that same model for agent builders and stuff is going to be another big opportunity for people that are able to build these custom agents and these tools like that OpenAI and everything's rolling out for local service businesses or just even every business and everything to have this own kind of agent thing built out.
it's awesome. And don't be scared, guys. AI can be overwhelming, everything that's being released, but just follow basic news and test it out. That's the only way for you to learn. Most of the tools they're pushing, they're not complicated. Like you think they are. An agent, nobody knows how it works, but once you use it, you know how you can use it. That's it. Um, my last question to you, I know we're coming up top of the hour. If somebody's starting today from scratch to build their funnel end to end, where do you think they should start?
Yeah, you foundationally, I tell this to everybody, start with your words. It's fun to start designing logos because I want to put it on a business card, a hat, or something like that. It's cool to start looking at what platforms am I going to build it in. So many times people start getting lost in the weeds of the thing. Start foundationally, start with your messaging and your words because that is going to be the foundation that carries through your website copy, your social content, your podcast you want to do, like your sales presentations, your decks and stuff. It all comes back to foundationally with the words that you use. At our company, we love the StoryBrand framework. I think that it's a really good like 7 different talking points that follows the story arc narrative to position yourself as the guide to solve your customers' problems. It gives you those simple talking points. So then that way, as you're crafting all of your messaging, you do stand out from all the mix of the clutter and chaos because you're clear. Whenever you're clear, you always win. So I would start with my words that I'm using, lock and know my foundational things of my talking points. And I would use that to start building out the rest of my marketing.
And if they need help, they could reach out to Sean. Sean is awesome at storytelling. You guys can tell from today's episode. Where can they find you, Sean?
Yeah, best way is just go to the website, seangarner.co, seangarner.co. Got links to the Marketing Domination podcast on there, links to my social, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the places and everything. Lots of free resources on there. Like this website wireframe checklist is one of like 7 or 8 things that we have on the website. So go download lots of free stuff, use it and grow your business. Just don't let it be a PDF that sits in your inbox. Use it.
It's awesome. Sean, thank you so much. There you guys have it. If you know what a funnel is, this is an awesome refresher with an awesome framework takeaway. If you're new to funnels, you have all the resources you need to get started and even a person you can reach out to help you get started. So thank you so much, Sean. I really appreciate your great input on the topic. And again, thank you everybody who joined us today. We will share with you the recording and we'll see you on an upcoming session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, George.
No, thank you so much for the opportunity, guys. I appreciate it. If there's anything else that I can do to help or anything, just please let me know.
You got it.
Awesome. See
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Sure. Thank